Alright guys, my name is the Metagoblin, and today, you may be wondering why I'm just chilling here on a random Wrath of the Lich King private server. It's called Warcraft, by the way, it's pretty good, you should check it out. Firstly, obviously I'm waiting for Northdale to come out, I'm waiting for Classic WoW to come out. But the reason why is because I want to talk today about a topic which is probably just not really talked about a lot when it comes to reviewing World of Warcraft and the changes from Classic WoW, or old school WoW, to modern WoW. And I think it's just something that's really, sorry that's my phone going, I think it's something that's really skimmed over, not a lot of people really talk about it. And the simple topic is snapshot DPS. Okay, the changes to snapshot DPS in Warlords of Draenor, I believe, that's when the change went from snapshot to dynamic DPS. Yeah, it's not something that's really talked about, but it massively, just drastically changed the playstyle of every single DPS class in the game. And I personally think it, I think it made it worse, personally. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So, if you didn't know, snapshot DPS, basically, what will happen if you're applying a dot or some kind of other ability, basically it would snapshot your stats at the time that you used the ability. So, for instance, if you've got like a strength proc, or you've used a strength trinket or something, basically your dot damage will be increased during that time. But also, if your strength trinket has 1 second to fall off, if you reapply the dot, it will act as if you still have the damage buff. Even when the damage buff falls off, the dot will continue to do higher damage, right? I can give a little example of this. So like if I put Ice to touch on my target now, my dot is ticking for like, what, 700 and something? But if I like do it a bit more, and then I'm going to apply my dots again, I'm going to get the pet off the target. Now my dots are like, as you can see, they're like 1.5k, so they're doing like a lot more damage now. And basically, you can continue to make your dots do that massive damage increase. They're still doing the damage increase now, even though the dots are, or even though my strength buffs have fallen off. And that's kind of a playstyle you kind of had to adapt. You had to tactfully reapply your dots, or maybe some kind of a personal buff, while the strength buffs and the strength procs were about to fall off, so you can continue to benefit from the high damage of your dots and all that kind of thing for a longer period of time. Personally, I just think this playstyle, it was a little bit more strategic, it was a little bit more interesting simply to play. Right now we have a dynamic system, well, I say right now, I don't actually play retail anymore, but in retail World of Warcraft there's a dynamic system where everything is just done for you. So if you've got a dot on the target, you get a strength proc, your dots automatically start doing more damage, you don't have to think about it. You basically you just have to think less. You have to think less strategically about your rotation and your playstyle. And I just don't like it. I remember, I think this is just like, it was like a little feature in the game which separated pro players from casual players. Like casual players would just go in there, they had a basic knowledge about you should pop all your cooldowns together, and they kind of understood what rotation order, spell order to maximise your DPS to get a good, burst window. But that was about it. Like that's the casual player. But your smart player, your more pro player, learn about snapshotting and learn about perfect rotation timing, and it was way more engaging and way more challenging kind of playstyle, which I really enjoyed. Like right now I am able to out DPS people with much higher gear than me, just because I know snapshotting, and I like doing that. I like out DPSing people with high gear score. I remember back in the day when I was playing World of Warcraft very regularly. I was playing during Mists of Pandaria quite a lot. That's probably the last time I played properly. I was playing PvP back then, I was playing on my Holy Death Knight. I remember I was talking to this guy who was called Re-Apocalypse, or Resident Evil Apocalypse basically. It was one of the highest rated DKs on my server, and he used to walk around in this awesome looking full Dreadnought set, which was quite impressive. The tier 3 warrior set, so he looked awesome. And I think he even had Corrupted Ashbringer at some point. Maybe not actually. I used to know a guy with Corrupted Ashbringer though. But anyway, I remember asking him, talking to him in game, and asking me, if he had any tips to push my rating in 3v3 arena. He just taught me about snapshotting. He's a really, really down to earth, nice guy, and he taught me about snapshotting. And I remember when I started applying it to my playstyle, everything just started to melt.
Put big dots on Chown and bursting.
You need to say what, fearing them.
I got a bubble you, man.
Yeah. I'm stunned. Fearing. You want to go shaman?
Yeah,
Crouching?
yeah.
I'm popping burst.
Fine hold.
What the fuck happened? I didn't see a shit.
I think I
Serious.
just timed Sorry properly, I don't know.
And my rating went up drastically. I went from 1800 to 2200 in probably a month, because I learned about snapshotting properly, right? And at one point, I was even 2400 rating in rated arenas, rated battlegrounds. Sorry. So I remember, basically, I didn't think it was that relevant for an Unholy Death Knight, because really, the only people who really know about the concept of snapshotting are really dot classes, so Shadow Priest, Warlock, and maybe some classes like maybe Arms Warrior, because of the bleeds that warriors have. So yeah, not a lot of people really know about snapshotting, but really, because I've always preferred to play dot classes, I've always kind of learnt about snapshotting even when I'm playing different MMOs and different games. And yeah, I just honestly just like the playstyle. I remember basically, I'll jump into an arena in 3v3 as I'll apply my dots, get my dots on there, and what I would do is if I got some kind of proc, or massive strength proc, I'd pop my trinket, time all of my strength buffs together, reapply all my dots so that you get big dots. I always used to shout to my team, I've got big dots, big dots. And then what I'll do is I'll wait for my strength buffs about to go off, and then I'd use Outbreak, which is an old ability which applied both of your dots on, as an Holy Death Knight, because you had to apply them manually back in the day, like you do on Wrath of the Lich King here. And so I would extend the duration of my big dots for a good basically 40 seconds to a minute, and things just melted. I'll just shout to my team, big dots, I'm going to melt them down, and I'd make sure that at the precise moment that I reapplied my dots, I would spread them properly, I'd spread all my dots to everyone, so I'd just rot the entire team down with huge dots, because it also snapshotted your stats whenever you spread the diseases from target to your different targets. Obviously Warlocks had Soul Swap as well, so it snapshot your intellect buff, your intellect stat, when you use this Soul Swap ability. I don't know how Warlock dots work now, I think it probably work the same. But yeah, that was the playstyle back then, just getting huge dots on your target and trying to spread it to the entire team to rot the entire team down. And yeah, you also had to do this with your Gargoyle or any other kind of cool, temporary pet cooldown. You could snapshot that, because when you summoned the pet, any temporary pet, I think Shadow Priest also had a temporary pet, your Shadow Fiend, that would snapshot your stats as well. So the best time to pop your Gargoyle, you had to really be careful about when you pop Gargoyle, because it actually cost runic power back in the day in Wrath of the Lich King, so you had to really time having a big pool of runic power with your massive strength procs. I can demonstrate this now. I always open with Bloodstrike on Wrath of the Lich King, because you want all those procs to trigger, and those procs procs always a trigger on melee swings, but also melee abilities. So best way to do it is to open with Bloodstrike, and then you can see all your procs come available then, and then you've got to very, very quickly get your runic power up, and then I don't think I got the massive amount of the maximum DPS I could have got there, but as you can see now my Gargoyle is snapshotting my stats at that point, so my Gargoyle will just continue to absolutely wreck the target with that increased damage, and it's as simple as that. I'm doing some pretty good numbers now. As you see, I don't know how much my Gargoyle's hitting, but he's probably hitting about double what he normally hits, just because I've used this snapshot tactic. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. That's just what I wanted to have a little rant about very quickly. I'm going to end the video now. My name is the Meta Goblin. Until my next video, ciao.